Let's start in lesson 77 by looking at advanced radical equations here. You got the cube root of x cubed plus 6x squared minus 4. Well, what you're going to do here is first you're going to get this, not trinomial, but whatever, that part on its own. So you're going to get everything else on the other side. So we're going to add x, add 2. So that leaves us with cube root of x cubed plus 6x squared minus 4 equals x plus 2. And this is where it gets a little tedious, TBH. Well, to get rid of this cubed sign, in the past we had a square root sign, and to get rid of it we square rooted, or squared. To get rid of the cube rooted sign, we have to cube it all. So now we have x plus 2 cubed. So that is saying x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. That's what that is. So it's a little tedious, but we got to multiply it all. So I'm going to start by foiling just 2 of them. And I'm just going to try to do this really fast. X times x, x squared first, outside 2x. Inside 2x, those added together, I'll do that in a second, plus 4. So we got that times x plus 2. Simplify here, and that's 4x. Now I got to multiply everything here. I'm going to move this x plus 2 over here. This is personally how I like to do it. And then multiply the x by everything. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 4x plus 4x squared. X times that is 4x. And do the 2 times everything plus 2x squared plus 8x plus 8. Simplify. And all this here becomes x cubed. 4x squared, 2x squared is 6x squared. 4x and 8x is 12x. And we get 8. And so, yeah, okay, did all that. We should know how to do that. Now from here, this has now been canceled because of the cubed sign. And now we can simplify. When I subtract x cubed from x cubed, notice those cancel out. And how convenient and nice of them. 6x squared minus 6x squared. That also cancels out. So we're left with negative 4 equals 12x plus 8. Get x by itself, so minus the 8. Negative 12 equals 12x. And what do you know? We did all that to get the answer of x equals negative 1. X equals negative 1. And then you actually do need to plug it in to check to make sure the answer does turn out right. So if I plugged it in real quick, it'd be negative 1 cubed, and that'd be negative 1. Negative 1 squared, that'd be positive 6 minus 4. Okay, so all cube rooted. They're just being mean on this problem. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5, minus 4 is 1. Well, the cube root of 1 is 1. So we get 1 minus x minus 2 equals 0. Now we actually know what x is. X is negative 1. So we plug that in. 1 minus negative 1 is 1, so 2 minus 2 ends up equaling 0. So it does check out. And that's how you do those. All right, they are definitely tedious. But let's move on to equation with multiple radical signs in it. 77.2, square root of k minus 5 minus square root of k plus 1 equals 0. All right, on these, once again, you got to get the overall expression of square root of k minus 5 or whatever. Then you got to get one radical on its own here. So we add the square root of k and subtract a 1. So we get square root of k minus 5 equals square root of k plus 1. That's what we get left with. And now when we get rid of the square root, we got to square both sides. So that gives us nope, not square root. That gives us k minus 5 equals, that foiled, okay, that's square root of k plus 1 squared. So FOIL square root of k times square root of k is k outside plus radical k inside plus radical k, and the last plus 1. So we are left with k plus 2 square root of k plus 1, and now we can solve. Subtract k, cancels, lovely. Negative 5 equals 2 radical k plus 1. Subtract 1. Negative 6 equals 2 radical k. Now from here, you don't square anything yet. We can get rid of the 2 by dividing, because 2 times radical k. So we divide by 2. So that's negative 3 equals radical k. And k is not by itself yet. We still have to square it to get rid of the square root. And so from that point, negative 3 times negative 3 would be positive 9, equaling k. Making sure that's correct. Yep, positive 9 equals k. And that's how you do multiple radicals in one equation.